Today's video is all about GameSwift, the one-stop gaming ecosystem. In today's video, we're going to be doing a deep dive looking into the tokenomics, the utility, the team, and the overall value proposition, and much, much more. We got to figure out whether we should be holding this project in our portfolio for the up-and-coming bull run. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate that strategy, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, today we're going to be looking at GameSwift. Is it the opportunity in order for us to get in right now for the up-and-coming bull run? Guys, you know that the gaming narrative is nice and hot, and of course we're looking for bottom dwellers, projects that have yet to run and obviously give us that nice momentum to the upside. So let's take a look at this, guys. We're going to look at the tokenomics, the utility, the overall value proposition, the team, and many other characteristics behind this project to see if it actually fits within our portfolio. We're going to be using the website. The website is going to be our main platform to kind of navigate this project. And I'm going to start off by saying, you know, it seems like GameSwift has two websites, right? Let's look at this one right here. Okay, this is the landing page pretty much. The GS shop is now open, which is cool. You have GameSwift.io, and then you'll have a GameSwift.community, which is another website here. So which gives us a little bit of ambiguity. You know, at the end of the day, you guys know that I like clarity. If it's clear, it's concise, it's an easy way to make decisions. So I guess we're gonna have to bounce around and kind of see what the difference is behind these both websites. At first glance, they look like to offer a very similar thing, but I feel like this one right here is more geared towards individuals like you and I. So let's kind of do that right now and kind of scroll through this and see what kind of info we can find. We definitely have a shopping section for merch, NFC tech, and other aspects. So if you're interested in checking out their shop, which is freshly launched, which is good. The one-stop gaming ecosystem, guys. This is a good sentence right here to summarize what this project is all about. At the end of the day, it seems like it does basically want to offer every solution from developer to users, gamers, and that definitely is very clearly laid out here for this project. The chain Web3 infrastructure, so let's begin by its own blockchain. It has its own platform, it's its own gaming studio, well-designed integrated pillars that make up the GameSwift ecosystem. So platform, studio, chain, and infrastructure, a lot happening there. And of course, when you're trying to be a jack of all trades, for me personally, it starts to make me wonder, do they have what it takes to achieve this, right? So this is a big thing. It's a whole ecosystem that they're trying to build. And of course, we have to keep this in mind when we look at the tokenomics. Okay, let's continue going. Our original infrastructure facilities, implementing blockchain technology and sharing in-game resources for game developers, lets the players enjoy their gaming experience to the fullest. Guys, we have to understand that, of course, a lot of these gaming ecosystems, even games themselves, have basically allow the sharing and buying and selling of in-game assets via NFT. That's the new wave of utility behind NFTs within gaming, and I think that's going to be a hot topic and for the up-and-coming bull run. So let's keep this in mind. If they can come up with their own, store or a place where we can swap assets, in-game assets, for their entire catalog of games, that would be really good, because ultimately there will be volume there. So let's keep that in mind. Let's keep on going. GameSwift chain built on top of the cutting edge technology, so they have their own chain. It's great. So one thing that really we have to focus on is that it's gaming optimized. For me, that's really interesting, given that the fact is that you can have a blockchain that is a jack of all trades, but if you're going to specialize the chain to behave and interact specifically for its utility, which is gaming, Guys, that's a really, really good thing. And the fact that they have their own layer one and they were able to basically separate the functionalities within the layers, which we'll talk about in a second, because I think from a tech perspective, that's a very hot and very interesting idea that they got going on here. It gives them basically full control, having their own layer one and all the ability to tweak their tech to suit their needs. And ultimately, it should translate into a great experience for the user, the gamer itself, and for developers. Of course, we got to support those developers, because without them, there's no ecosystem. And if there's no ecosystem, there's no real utility for the token. So we have to pay attention to the back end as well as the front end when it comes to a project. Cross-chain interoperability, guys, that's a huge, huge topic. Of course, it's a narrative that is around the corner. A lot of people talking about it. We don't want any resistance, in the sense we don't want red tape going from one chain to the next, especially with gaming. We already had that with traditional Web 2 or traditional console gaming, whereas if you're on one console, you're limited to the next. Now, of course, in today's day, that limitation has been kind of muddled, and they're finding solutions for that, and cross-platform gameplay is definitely possible nowadays. But I feel like right now with the blockchain, given the fact that all these games have their own chains or use other blockchains, the last thing we want to do is basically take one step backwards and have that friction from cross-chain or cross-platform gameplay. We all want to be able to play on no matter which chain we are, and ultimately it gives less barriers to entry for newcomers that enter the space, because that cross-chain capability just reduces all that friction. And for me, that's a really, really good one. So GameSwift infrastructure enables users to seamlessly access the chain from any place and any major blockchain network, while simultaneously providing interoperable transfer and cross-chain data. That's exactly what we need here. So that's a great thing. I think that's for mass adoption. That's exactly what we need. Secured by Polygon, interesting leading edge Polygon technology in our specialized, optimized, battle tested nodes. Fully carbon neutral. Okay, keeping in mind the environmental conscious scenario there, guys. Good stuff there, of course. ZK EVM scalability. So that's another one. The world's fastest transaction on top of Ethereum. Security, while offering full EVM compatibility, allows the developers to seamlessly deploy any Ethereum smart contract to layer 2 and provides users with the possibility to enjoy dApps and basically interface they already know inside out. So the user interface is obviously an important one, because you don't want that friction or that learning curve or that unfamiliarity. You want to be able to get right in running, so that's a good thing. So I kind of like the fact that it's EVM. EVM compatibility is also another important thing, given the fact that building an infrastructure is difficult, an ecosystem is difficult. Well, if you're going to open yourself to EVM compatibility, you're going to be able to front run that idea. Let's keep on going. So far, so good. There's a lot to be said here. GameSwift ID. So this is another little aspect behind the project, of course. Creating your own Web3 gaming identity. Guys, we know that the avatars, the gaming identity, the online identity within gaming is quite necessary in order to have that personability, that, that avatar type of feel where you're online, you meet your friends, you have a name, you have an icon, and so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, you're able to, peg your assets and your statistics and your achievements to this GameSwift ID, which is a really good thing, and one place, fully decentralized, interoperable. Good stuff there. GameSwift SDK. This is all for developers. GameSwift SDK, and take advantage of the necessary Web3 tools, which makes developers give them an easier time to build for the Web3 game and on their platform, and prepare their games and their software for their platform. So you want to be able to build that ecosystem and provide the tools to developers so that ultimately it translates to a token with some great utility. GameSwift Analytics, dig deeper into statistics to better understand your play style. So if you're playing a game, it collects data, it collects a lot of info, and I bet you on that info there's a layer of ability to earn. And of course, we know that data is a big way on how tech companies earn. So it may be a little bit of a kickback for sharing those analytics could be around the corner. A GameSwift platform. So again, they have their platform where you have all your games, the overall distribution of your GameSwift ID, and while seamlessly interacting with other players, choose your favorite game, play with rich library. It's pretty much a library where we can get access to all your offerings, all your digital assets under one roof. So I kind of like this. This is good, of course, kind of necessary. And then the GameSwift Studio. Guys, you know how bullish I am on studios rather than focusing on an individual game. So for me, this is a good one, given the fact that you're not betting on one game. They have an entire catalog of games that are going to be released eventually. And the question is, are they good enough to actually leave a mark and get people all involved in here? So Star Heroes right now is up front and center, as you can see. Looks interesting, but of course a bit of gameplay would get you a little bit more bullish. Feel free to do your research, guys. And this is the roadmap. Now, this is one thing that bothers me, is that when you have two websites and you have a white paper and you have a this and you have a that, there's disjointed information everywhere. Okay, so for me, this is a problem. It's a problem because here on this roadmap, we're totally up to date. Okay, we have a Q1 2024 roadmap where they want to be, and then the fact is that we have the history as well, which is really good for accountability. So as of now, GameSwift modular chain. This is important to understand. It's a modular chain, and we'll talk about the modular aspect of the chain in a second and the value proposition behind that. More than 100 games on the platform. That's what they want in the first quarter, guys. We're pretty much going through the first quarter really quickly, so let's see how it goes here. GameSwift marketplace launch. They got that going. They got a marketplace, a shop. I don't know if that's what they relate to, but maybe not. Shared security vault, new exchange listing. Well, of course, we need to get more volume up in there. We'll talk about the exchange listings in a second. Real world asset integration. I'm wondering what that means with the real world asset. What does that even mean? Like how does real world assets have to do with gaming? But of course, there's always new ways of integrating technologies into scenarios. So I'm curious. Grant program announcement, ambassador program. That's really good for getting this thing, new product live, new feature live. Okay, so a bit of a roadmap happening here. I like the details. I like the accountability and the timing, and I don't like the fact that there's disjointed information across the websites. And now I prefer this website in comparison to the other one. We'll skim through the other one very quickly to see if there's any other things that we need to pay attention to. Again, a lot of these partners and investors, Alchemy Pay, we have Blockchain Games, okay, Polygon Studios. Are they partners? I would say potentially Polygon Studios and KuCoin Labs, Alchemy Pay. I'm not sure. Like, we got to be really token metrics, and not really like these guys. We have to understand, are these strategic partnerships? And of course, a lot of these companies, all these projects, all they really do is get icons, get logos, and slap them on a website. And me personally, when I see something like this, I start to wonder, how is this a strategic partnership? What value do these individuals bring to their project, to GameSwift itself? So it would be nice to have this clickable. It would be nice for a pop-up to explain exactly what that relationship is, because getting listed or using the Polygon network for a certain feature or whatever the case, being listed on KuCoin, that's not a partnership. Okay, that's an arrangement that was done in order for GameSwift to be distributed. That's not a partnership. So I'm looking for strategic partnerships to add value. GameSwift and KuCoin will definitely exist without each other and don't really add any major value to one another other than distribution of the token, which is good, but that's a whole category on itself, right? So let's be clear about what these partners are about. I think that the GameSwift is a bit small, and we have to really allocate an understanding that their partnerships and their investors are going to be related to their size and their overall market cap. How strong are they currently in the market? I think they have a bright future, and they could definitely onboard some real good, strong partnerships very, very soon. Let's continue going. As seen on, okay, this is good for publicity. This is good for marketing. These are not relationships these usually are bought sometimes. Like you buy a spot on Yahoo Finance in order to get a report or some sort of a listing of some sort on these platforms, Benzinga and all of this. So it's a good thing. At least they're out there getting exposure. Let's move on. The newsletter, if you're interested, sign up. There you go. You got some socials under here that are not the most active. Telegram and LinkedIn, and some of them, the links don't work. Some of them are private. You also have A Discord again, a little bit more activity would be really good. And I noticed that a lot of the times, no one from the team is there to be there to create engagement, to ask questions or answer questions, or just to be there. And I know it costs marketing dollars, I get it, but in today's day, I've noticed that the value behind community is much more than ever, right? Community creates the hype, the second part of the equation. You can have great fundamentals, you can have great tech, but if you don't have a community behind you, that's going to hold you back significantly, right? So, and we've seen the power of community even when the tech is not good. So we have to understand that if even with poor tech, you can have a great community and still do very, very well. So what we have to do is find a healthy balance. And when you go on a Discord, especially Discord, when there's so much possibility for engagement and community building, and there's nothing really happening, that bothers me, because it's an opportunity there that is lost in order to build a quality, high quality community and engagement there, rather than just posting on X, just blasting all kinds of posts with no real engagement. Let's move on. That's my take based on marketing. They have the branding, newsletter, contact. That's that. They got some technology tabs. Let's see our leading edge tech. Let's see what we got here. GameSwift ID. We talked about all this. We talked analytics. We talked about this. A little bit of repetition, which I don't like. Build with GameSwift Studio. We talked about the world-class support, studio products. That we got Explore Swift Gaming Community. Join the Discord. Our previous experience. So what does this mean? The team, top-notch GameSwift Studio team. Okay, that should have been under the team section, but still okay. What they're trying to say is they're building, who is building is basically a studio that has some experience with Google, on the team of Witch Hunter, The War of Mine, Amazon, of course, CD Projekt, whatever this is. Okay, great. You got some experience. We'll get to the team in a second, but the team is definitely decent. I appreciate the quality of the team and their efforts. Definitely build with us if you want to get on to the platform and launch your own game. They do have some support, financial grants, programs, and to attract brilliant talents to their ecosystem. That's exactly what we need. When I see stuff like that, in fact, I even get more bullish when I see numbers. When they are committed to offering, builders, developers, a certain amount of capital in order to help them grease their way through and build. Because a lot of the times it's the finances that keep builders at bay. If you want people to get on, you got to buy them some time to actually build and work for you. And unfortunately, you got to pay for that. And helping them out with grants is definitely something that should be considered. Now, throughout this entire page so far, we're at the bottom. I don't see anything with the fact that this is backed or basically built around a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. Now, speaking of organization, this is the team. Okay, so we'll talk about the DAO. We'll try to find information as we go, because I did read some instances here on the white papers, on the second website, on parts of the Medium. There's so much information out there that, we can kind of pull it all together. So basically 30 experienced professionals, great in Web3, potential to shape the future. They have lots of experience in Google, like I said, TerraStation, Wallet, Kujira, a lot of Loop Finance, and many, many more. GameSwift developers are pioneers. Okay, fine. They're great. Read that. I agree. They have lots of members, community members, 4K customer, 60 plus partnerships. Okay. Now these are the dudes themselves and dudettes. Ultimately, what we got to see is, if you read their bio, that's great. But you know how much I value LinkedIn links. This dude doesn't have it linked up. It's private or non-existent. He does have a Twitter, but for me, that's 50-50 doxed, in the sense that all of this could be made up. Although it could be true, at least we have his first name. We know where he comes from, what's going on. But really, I like a LinkedIn account. Why? Because the LinkedIn account tells you who he's connected with. His social community, or their social community, or their value as a team member is directly related to their history working in other teams and which teams they came from. So the reality is their education stated here like a resume is not enough. It's their network that is valuable. But nonetheless, they are very, very promising. You can see that some of them do have LinkedIn accounts that are active. You can feel free to look into them, but they do have some great, great backing as far as, experience in Web3 and different studios and in gaming and so on. So it's a pretty decent team. You got lots of good advisors here, and no joke, they're definitely ready to go. So I'm bullish on the team. Yeah, you know, of course, there's always levels. I would say that there is maybe a little area of improvement, maybe a heavyweight team member. But when you're talking about heavyweight team members coming from studios that are mainstream, like EA Sports and so on, Blizzard and Activision and all these others, the issue here is that you're paying for that, right? These talents come out of nowhere. And just because they don't have those, you know, high profile profiles, essentially, doesn't mean that they're not valuable as team members. And at the end of the day, I believe that taking a bit of a risk on a project that has up and coming talent is a lot more rewarding than getting something that is already matured. So for me, this is exactly what I like looking at, is teams that are up and coming. And I feel bullish about this team because they definitely have the potential. Let's keep on going. Partners and investors, again, be very critical on this. I hate these links. They don't do anything. They don't offer anything. AMB crypto, what does that have to do with anything? Like, what do they offer? Is it because they're promoting them? That for me is not a strategic investor. That's just a relationship that they have. And again, Microsoft, how are they involved in Microsoft and Bloomberg and so on? Half of these, I can bet you, are just relations that they may have, whether they be you know, a blog post of some sort. They feel like it's a partnership. Be critical on them, because they could just kind of, you know, be bloating up the hype right there. Are you ready to join? Explore job offers. You're looking for a job, they got you covered. Go check them out, and a lot of good other stuff. Let's continue. Their products, which I kind of like, because they kind of, you know, show you exactly what they're really offering. GameSwift community, you see, this is where we're at. We're that second website. So if we, just to confirm it, let me open it up a new tab. I'm gonna shift it over here, and we'll take a look at it. Yes, it is. This is the second website, so there's no point of opening it up again. I'm still confused as to what this is about. Now, I feel like this could be the GameSwift community that specifies DAO aspects, or a little bit more related to the project itself as a token. It could be it, because I don't see much tokenomics or anything like that here on this website, which is really, you know, confusing for a lot of people that are looking to do deep dives. Platform, let's see what's going on here. Let's open up this in a new tab and see what's going on here. So again, this is the platform where you see all your games. Okay, you see all your games, leaderboard, reviews, products, and so on. On the left, you have a wallet. They have their own wallet, which is good. You can add to wallet. Which is interesting here is that they have their own native wallet that is online. So it's a hot wallet. Essentially, it's online. You log in, but that's what makes the transactions quick and easy, right? But then you could obviously take them off this wallet, right? This wallet's almost like a holding cell that just makes things a lot more simpler for short-term quick trades, or quick swaps, or quick you know, additions to the game that you want to buy, any additional in-game assets. So it just makes it easy and convenient, and you can create this wallet using an email address. You don't need anything crazy. You don't need anything specific. It's user-friendly for anybody that wants to get into the gaming. Any individual that doesn't even have blockchain experience or experience in Web3 can get on here and start gaming very easily, without any feel that they're actually dealing with a crypto type of game, right? So there's no real crypto culture really involved in there. A bit of a swap here, which is good, because you get the bridging, the swapping, and so on. This is what, you know, I'm not sure what this is for. I think this is just to give convenient features in order to gain access to GameSwift tokens and so on, if you want to swap around, because you know that this whole project is interoperable. Blockchain interoperability is a hot idea, and they're totally embracing it, and they're supporting it by offering a swap and a bridge, which bridges nowadays, of course, in the past, they've been very complicated, especially for newcomers. What is a bridge? How do we swap? And a lot of tokens get lost within bridges, and vulnerabilities happen with bridges. So I'm hoping that all of this is all tidied up and taken care of here for the swap to bridge. And I think this is a good feature, regardless, to have on any major ecosystem. So you can see that this, the website, the original website, kind of forces us to deviate from that original website here to the community website bit by bit, right? So we're slowly getting there. We have the launcher. Let's see what's going on here. Lots of tabs, guys. This is one of the things that I don't appreciate about websites that are like this, dual websites and all of this. GeForce AI is here. Basically, yeah, this is your launcher. You download it, you load up all your games, you have your menu, you have everything that you need here in order to get going on the platform. That's about it. It's downloadable for Windows and Mac users. let's move on. What else do we have here? Launcher and then the shop. Let's do one more here. Let's see what it is. I might as well. We went through all of them. Let's see what kind of bullishness that we got here. And this is the shop. GS Gearbox. Okay, we got t-shirts, baseball caps, socks, and hoodies. Done. Okay, let's move on. What else do we got here? So we did this. Let's go back to here. This part pretty much contact. That's all you got, and that's done. That's this website. Not bad. It's missing a little bit of information. Let's go back to the homepage quick. It's missing a bit of information. I don't see anything related to white papers, and it could be here at the bottom. No, contact, nothing. I don't see anything related to white papers. Technology might be here somewhere, but I doubt it. Okay, so that's where we're at. Now, if we go back to this website, again, obviously, this is not something that I recommend any project does, to have two websites that are so very similar in repetition, because it starts to, you find gaps in the quality of the information because sometimes they don't match. So GameSwift, welcome to GameSwift DAO community. So this website seems to be something that is around the DAO. It's supposed to explain the DAO a little bit. It's supposed to explain how individuals are going to participate within the community or within the network or the project, and ultimately, can they earn? How much control do they have over voting, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's kind of move through this. What I see is that there's a lot of repetition within tech talk, which shouldn't be here talking about the tech. If it's about the DAO, let's focus on the DAO. So GameSwift is an omni token that can seamlessly be transferred between blockchain support by layer 0 technology. Very interesting. Basically, GameSwift is setting a new standard, game-changing range utilities, and multiple chain blockchains. Very good. That's what we need. GameSwift token utility. There's a lot more to be said than this. There's other aspects of this website and the white papers that we'll look at, so we'll focus on that. And then we have the ZK EVM modular blockchain. The modular blockchain is quite interesting because it basically separates the functions within the layers into discrete functionalities, giving a lot more control over how the blockchain interacts with the user experience towards the end, which is better. So build with unmatched scale, improves for scalability. Your game 10,000x better than monolithic blockchains, which we'll talk about in a second. It is the layer handles all of the tech within one instance. No control in the micro or in the close-up of all the little functions within the layer. So we'll talk about that in a second. Enjoy proven and second modular infrastructure. GameSwift is joining the ranks of projects utilizing maximizing scalability. Okay, fine. A lot of jargon here that can definitely be cleaned up. A lot of information, too much writing in my opinion for a website. Auto compounding, gaming ecosystem. So what I like about this, I remember reading this, and all-in-one investing in Web3 gaming. I like this aspect as well. A one-stop shop for all your needs. The compounding is quite interesting because it's the way it's going to improve your ability to earn as a holder. The more games in the ecosystem, the more more tokens exist, and then basically experience auto compounding rewards like never before as you're staked. GameSwift generates a variety of gaming tokens in an automated way. So if you're a holder of GameSwift, technically speaking, you will qualify for this, for the ability to earn and generate more tokens, other gaming tokens, as the games enter the ecosystem. So those games that enter the ecosystems, if they have their own tokens, you will qualify for automatic rewards and compounding those rewards automatically and getting those tokens from those other games, which is good. Ultimately, it's not unheard of to have that scenario where you're holding the native token and the native coin, and then by holding you get airdrops or incentives by other games or other projects that join the ecosystem. So good stuff there. And yeah, ultimate gateway to all gaming, all in one. Perfect. Now, platform yield, what do we do here? Revenue streams. There's lots of revenue streams. So the major utility here obviously is the ability to earn. If you stake, you earn. So stakers basically earn in multiple ways: modular blockchain fees, shared security vault, staking rewards. There's a lot of options here. LP staking rewards, monthly subscriptions, data storage fees, platform fees, and transaction fees. So although this blockchain, let's be clear, and I'm waiting to try to find this on this website, although this blockchain has zero gas fees for the gamers, the new people that are coming in to play a game do not have to worry about holding a particular token in order to play a game. Guys, that is a real big barrier to entry. It's friction, it's red tape. Let's say that you know somebody that's a gamer and they know nothing about Web3. They don't even have any crypto. That's fine. They can totally get on here and start playing a game and have zero gas fees just to and can definitely be a part of the game without any initial gas or any initial tokens required. So for me, that's a really, really good thing. But then you start to question, well, then how are they going to earn? How is the overall GameSwift community, the DAO or the stakers, going to earn? Well, here it is. There's a lot of other ways to monetize this system, this ecosystem, and they got a huge list of it. Okay, so 10% stakers, 10% buyback and burn out of this yield. Okay, at least they have a burning mechanism and buyback, which essentially will potentially bring down circulating supply and, you know, make it a bit deflationary and so on and so forth. Let's move on. Tokenomics. This is an interesting one because you could see that ultimately, and I would love to zoom out a little bit here, but let's see if we can do that very easily. Let's zoom out just a little bit. Okay. You could see that a big portion of them has to do with the seed round, which you know what that means. It's basically early stakeholders. And then you have the foundation. Fine. The foundation, if I'm not mistaken, again, is held by the DAO. Okay. Is it locked up? It could be possible, definitely locked. It should be, but you can see that ecosystem fund is locked under governance, which is by the DAO. What else is locked under governance? The community fund is locked under governance. But what about the foundation? What is the foundation? It's basically a 12-month cliff with 36 months linear distribution or emissions, and that's 14%. So the foundation, who runs the foundation? Who's in control of the foundation? I was always assuming that the DAO would be one of them, and it should be locked under governments until, you know, voting happens and so on and so forth. But again, in the beginning, when there's not a lot of holders and DAO participants, how are they going to make that happen? So maybe they need to keep it free to, you know, engage in marketing activities and so on and so forth. But a lot of the times they do have the operational expenses, which are right here, which is 8.5% of the distribution. And if you look at that, the operational, it's 24-month linear. All right, none at Genesis at the initial, mint, and then all of a sudden they're going to get a linear distribution or emission over 24 months. So what is this going to be used for? So what is this used for? So this is where we're at right now. Like, this is who's controlling all of these things. This is where the DAO needs a little bit more information. This technically should be all governed under the DAO. The airdrop, early stakeholders, airdrop, seed round, early stakeholders. Community fund, who's controlling that? That regulated under community fund is locked under governance, so that's fine. Liquidity, again, should be locked under governance, because where are they going to get listed? Usually this is reserved for listings. A lot of centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges, they want liquidity up front before they get listed. And this way they have a little pocket of liquidity in order to begin the trading, the volume, as it comes in. Ecosystem fund, again, 22%. And we talked about that. Who's controlling that? It's locked under governance, which is good. So operational, again, business, who's controlling that. And then you have more early stakeholder type of distributions. Public sale, A and B. I know it's only a little bit, and then private round another 4.5%. So when you add all this up, all these early stakeholder individuals, you're looking at about 25% more or less, and that, it's not a significant amount, but still it's a chunk, but it's not bad. It's only 25% to early investors, and there is a vesting period where it's going to be distributed linearly or with a cliff or whatever the case is over time, and that way you don't have to worry about the over dilution of your coins and dragging down the price. So it's not bad. What I do see here is that what we need is some tokens that are more clearly controlled controlled under the DAO? Like, who's going to be controlling all this extra capital? But nonetheless, not bad. Total supplies 1.3, 1.4 billion, more or less. Let's put it that way. There's a few, zeros in here, but don't get scared about the amount of total supply. And I think this is also the max supply. Okay, so don't get scared about that because there's a lot of tokens. Because look at the utility behind this thing. It's a massive idea that they got going on here. They want to be a one-stop shop for gaming. They're going to need the tokens, and of course, there's a burning mechanism there. 10% gets burnt and bought back, and so on. So that's a good thing to make it a bit deflationary over time, and to compensate for some of the dilution potentially, especially at the beginning when a lot of these tokens start hitting the market at the top of the bull run type of thing, and when we want that supply shock, that would be good. So far, okay, I'm okay with this distribution. It's not bad. We got to understand that everybody's got to eat, including the early investors that are pushing this project forward. 20% or so is still not a bad idea for those early stakeholders. All right, so not bad. This page is probably one of the most valuable pages right now that we got here. Let's continue going. We got staking, just quickly. Staking overview. Okay, that's what's being staked. Total value stake. GSWIFT 14. Okay, 3% APY. Let's see the bridge. We kind of looked at the bridge already. The swapping capabilities, the lockup. Get your card. So you can connect a card. You can get some sort of card. Phase 3 has ended. Phase 2 ended. You can buy a card, and then all of a sudden, you're part of a membership, which kind of bothers me just a little bit when you see these types of membership. Do you buy them as an NFT or something like that? You're an NFT holder by owning these cards, and if you own the card, you get special rankings or different rewards over time. GameSwift card offer discounts when purchasing G-Bucks, and in later stages, the user's tier will be utilized in various areas of the GameSwift platform. So, in order to access certain characteristics of the ecosystem, you're enticed to be a Whalecraft holder, which requires 500,000 GSWIFT tokens. This is how it works, guys. I'm not really crazy about these type of let's call them gimmicks for now, but I like things nice and clear, and this kind of integrates a level of ambiguity within the overall product offerings here, because this is definitely a product offering. Again, we talked about the platform, the launcher, the shop. We already did that with the previous website. For me, that's, again, I'm not crazy about there. And then we have a light paper section, which I already have open up in another tab, so we won't touch that, so we can keep on going. We have the light paper again, the user the user terms, airdrops, the vesting. Let's take a look at that. We got that in a new tab, and ambassadors. Let's see what's going on here with this vesting. Oh, we did this already. So it kind of shows you the vesting. We'll take a look at the white papers. Let's see what this is. We talked about that. The launcher, we did this. All right, so GameSwift, this is the light paper. It's not a full-on white paper yet, which I would suggest they hurry up and get going. We have to understand that this, based on the clues that I've gathered while reading this thing, it's slightly outdated, just a bit. Okay, so we got to understand a single token, which gives you hundreds of offers, staking rewards in all games, scale, maximize revenue, quality titles. Of course, they also have a studio associated to this, blockchain layer, invisible. Okay, they have a ZK aspect to it, a roll-up aspect to it, but 2 steps further, one single wallet for multiple cross chains. Okay, that's crazy. That's really, really necessary here. For friction, we want mass adoption. They can pay with all these assets in real life, and the real game changer. It is definitely reducing the need to have a specific token, a specific blockchain, a specific wallet. Just makes things a lot better if you don't have those specifics. Let's move on. Value proposition. They have a dApps, layer 1. So basically, at the core of their technology, they are a layer 1. And what they've created is a layer 1 that specializes in gaming, which is great. They have infrastructure, development, and security. So this is important. Navigate multiple chains, connect crypto wallets, cover gas fees, learn about blockchain technology, and then core features. Let's get to this. Masterpiece of user experience. Discord, okay, almighty token utility, and that's what we really want to know. GameSwift token lies at the heart of our modular gaming ecosystem and occurs value from various use use cases. So what we really want to know is capturing staking rewards from native tokens of every roll-up used by games within our modular network. So every game that has a token, essentially you're able to capture rewards from those individuals if you're a GameSwift holder. Guys, that's the best thing that I've heard here, because as a studio, as an overall platform, you'll get rewarded as the ecosystem grows. And again, like I always say, ecosystem growth improves utility of the token. So you're going to be winning both ways, earning by capturing rewards, of course, by the roll-ups, and at the same time, you're going to see that as the ecosystem grows, your token value will appreciate. Executive summary, vision, that's interesting. Okay, let's look at something a little bit more what we're in tune for. So they kind of explain the market in general. Yeah, we're clear. We know that gaming is a hot narrative. Let's move on from there. How games benefit from Web3 games. So what's the value proposition? So whenever you think about gaming and Web3, essentially what you're saying is, how does Web3 help? Web3 helps because monetizing the time spent in a game. Guys, a lot of gamers spend lots of time just for pleasure. But now we can also spend lots and lots of time to earn, to, economically. Full ownership of in-game assets, another big value proposition, given the fact that we spend a lot of time and grinding away to build our assets within a game, or spend a lot of money buying the games in the assets within the game themselves. But the problem is, as the game updates or whatever the case is, we tend to lose these assets. But in this case, you are actually in full ownership of those in-game assets. And when we explain this to people that are gamers that are not part of Web3, they tend to understand, right? But they still don't understand the value. The value is that you're in full control of your assets, the same way you should be in full control of your physical assets out of a game in real life. You should be in full control of your digital assets as the digital world is growing. We are more digital more than ever before, so we need to have some way of being able to control our assets digitally. Access to secondary liquidity, snatching power from central authorities, major gaming studios. That's an interesting thing. Of course, we know that EA Sports, for example, with their sporting economies, guys, they kill it there. They do very, very well, but it's a very centralized organization. Transparency and fairness of the game, DAO gaming. So this is again back to that DAO concept. It's governed by a DAO, so there is a group of individuals calling shots on this platform for this organization, rather than a single individual like a traditional business. And for me, that's complete decentralization. For me, that is trying to embrace the complete decentralization of a project, and I embrace that heavily. Joining communities in the metaverse. How gaming studios benefits, improving funding possibilities, larger, more engaging communities, increased marketing opportunities, new ways to generate revenue. So they're also attracting developers and studios to join this platform, to deploy their games on this platform. And essentially that's what it is. But they also dabble in this themselves, because they have their own gaming studio as well. So it's a little bit of everything here happening. They got so much going on here. Current process, they describe the complexity behind an individual getting into the current Web3 gaming space, and then all of a sudden look at the GameSwift solution. Only 4 steps versus 7, and you can see that these steps are quite simple, right? Logging in using Google, Facebook, whatever, built-in wallet, like I showed you, there's a built-in wallet ready to go. Of course, that's a web wallet type of thing. Buy NFTs using your debit cards, super simple, and then play the game. So nothing really Web3 related that is going to be upfront and center for somebody that knows nothing about Web3. Even the wallet itself, the wallet is not Web3. It's a web-based wallet. So, guys, people won't even know that they're playing a Web3 type of game with the GameSwift solution. Really good stuff. Ultimately, really good. GameSwift ecosystem. So it's basically a few things happening here. They have their blockchain. Clear, we've established that. GameSwift Studio established that as well. Not only are they going to allow other studios to come in and deploy on their platform, but they have their own studio going there, which I'm bullish on. I like studios. GameSwift ID, again, another aspect, another value proposition here to the overall ecosystem, and the fact that as gamers, your ID, your tag, your name is actually very, very valuable, and the data associated to it is actually super valuable. Platform and launcher, we know that. Okay, typical launcher like Steam, game and so on, GameSwift analytics. So you're able to see your gameplay analytics and so on to maybe improve your game, but also maybe give you an opportunity to get rewarded for providing those analytics to the ecosystem, because ultimately we know that data is super, super valuable. Let's continue going down here. We got so much happening here. Modularness. I'm looking for a specific graph, a specific chart that I've seen before that is super, super good, staking reward, security, and so on. GameSwift, what is it? How are gas fees? Read into this, guys. It's very, very straightforward. Basically, they don't want any friction for newcomers. Basically, the fees, the earnings are going to come from different avenues within the ecosystem rather than fees, gas fees. Gas fees, zero. Perfect. Build, play, earn. GameSwift, there's a Q3 roadmap is outdated, unfortunately. The GameSwift token, again, GameSwift token is designed and generated revenue for all stakeholders for all GameSwift products. So that's the thing: fees, battle passes, and premium accounts. It creates multiple revenue streams for the GameSwift platform. It's not just gas fees, right? So that for me is an important thing, right? They're able to circumvent the dependency on gas fees to earn and find other creative ways of doing it, and that's good. That's good for the gaming industry. GameSwift ecosystem, we got a lot happening. Required validating payout transaction and fees, and then the team, guys. We saw the team already. The team is decent. A lot of these links they work, so go check them out as well. Partners, again, be critical about the partners. There was a chart that I really wanted to show you guys, and I'm not sure where exactly I found it. Oh, now I know where it is. It's right here. Let's move on. GameSwift utility and modular blockchain. This is interesting because ultimately we're talking about this modular blockchain. We're talking about the importance of this blockchain. Why? How does it separate itself from other gaming blockchains? Because there are others that are saying that they're specializing in gaming because of the characteristics that it has. But what this does, it definitely differentiates itself through its structure. Okay, so a little bit of reading obviously will help, but figure 1 here basically represents the difference between monolithic and modular blockchains. Now, from a modular perspective, really what it does is it separates the functions within a bigger function, let's call it that, or a bigger layer, a bigger idea, into smaller, discrete, very concise and specialized functionalities. So execution, settlement, consensus, and data availability happens in unique, structured, isolated events rather than coupling it up into one, which allows the developers to be very specific and controlled on how each section works and how they can tailor it for the gaming narrative, right? So this is what modularness means. Ultimately, it allows you to structure your code in such a way that allows specific specialization. Interesting stuff here, and I've yet to see something that really does this with this clarity and explains it with this clarity. And of course, this is brought to us by Binance Research, so not bad of a scenario here. Importance of overcoming current challenges blockchain, and this is the way they're basically trying to fight the trilemma by modularizing the blockchain or the contract. As presented above, monolithic chains seek to perform all the functions through the same chain, and that's the issue. Jack of all trades. When you can separate it all, you get a little bit more control, and I appreciate that. As a developer myself, I understand what they're trying to do here, and it's actually not a bad idea. GameSwift token utility within the GameSwift modular chain, transaction validation, transaction fees, ZK rollup. Guys, read all of this. If you're interested in tech, this is the opportunity. This is what you should be reading to actually see how the difference is here between a typical monolithic type of blockchain versus a modular type of blockchain. So pretty interesting stuff here. I like this. Obviously, I wanted to bring this chart for you just to kind of summarize all this wording. This is what you're looking for. This is what the value proposition is behind this blockchain. All right, guys, let's move on. Let's keep on going. That's another good aspect. Again, this area of the team, we talked about the team. So again, can we conclude that these two websites need to be amalgamated in some way? There's so much repetition. We've seen an updated roadmap with an outdated roadmap. We've seen a white paper with an outdated information and roadmap, and a little bit of too much jargon, too much language on a landing page. I feel like it's just overdone. I feel like the main website, let's call it this one, which is the GameSwift.io, if they want to integrate something regarding the DAO, they should have it right here, and not on their products or forget where they have it. You got to right here, GSWIFT. How is that a product? In my opinion, it's not a product. It's a structure of how GameSwift operates, and some of those details in the DAO, like the distribution and all of that, maybe shouldn't be there. Maybe should be in a white paper, and the white paper should be one of these. Powered by Gitbook, and this Gitbook is outdated because if you go here to GameSwift token, all you're doing is getting a roadmap again, so and an outdated one for that matter. So there's a little bit of organization that needs to come here. They need to get somebody in communications needs to come here and fix all of this and make it a lot more streamlined, and some of these links don't even work. I have to dig around to find this. I also had to dig around to find even this should be front, right, and center. This modular aspect of things should be on their main website, on their main landing page. When they're talking about their modular approach, they talk about so many other things and not talk about straight what is the value proposition on what makes this thing better than other gaming platforms. And that should be the first thing that should be on that front landing page. So again, a few little things that need to be kind of fixed up with the website. I like using the website as the main platform because it does really get me into the mindset of how people are experiencing their research here. They could be under research because it's hard to research given all the pages that they got to visit and dig through and kind of play the game of hide and seek type of thing. So let's move on. This is good. I like the platform overall. I don't know why this is blurry. Okay, this is why. It looks great. Let's move on. This is that's that, guys. All right, so you guys know that I give you an infographic. Let's get right into this info. Actually, before we get into infographic, let's take a look at the tokenomics, some of these metrics. I almost jumped the gun there. GameSwift right now is at about 61 cents. Don't focus on that too much. Just realize that its market cap is tiny. Okay, it's $35 million market cap, which means that if you look at other gaming platforms, there's a lot of room to grow here. And the fact that it's trying to do so much, and you can see that it's well established, the team is decent, everything is going good for it. I couldn't really find any negativity. Like, even if you looked at the distribution of the tokens, yes, there are some aspects there that are held towards early stakeholders, but it's not even that much. So the reality is it's not bad. Its market cap at 34, and everything that it has going on with it, with its layer 1 and its modularness and this interoperability, guys, it looks pretty good. So not bad. Consider its size while you are investigating, because size matters in this case, because if it's a small project with a low market cap and with such good fundamentals, there's an opportunity there, right? Fully diluted is a bit high here for me in the sense that it's almost already $1 billion market cap, fully diluted valuation, which means that we're talking about $1 billion project already if all the tokens were in full distribution at its current price, which means that, like, even in a full distribution, if it's at 60 cents, it's already at $1 billion. So how much more room do we have to grow? Like, honestly, it's all about the fact that this is a huge ecosystem. That's all it really is. It's a huge, and look how many tokens. We're talking about a max supply of almost 1.4 billion tokens. So that's what quite a few coins, not tokens, coins, because it's a layer 1 coin. It's a utility coin right now. So that's where we got to make that clear. So ultimately, that's the issue here. The issue is that there's a lot of coins that need to be in distribution. And if they all get into distribution, you're already at $856 million market cap, which is quite matured for an altcoin. So what we have to understand is ask ourselves this: is there more room to grow in the ecosystem? Is it still like fresh? Does it have utility to allow that growth and that absorption of all these tokens? I think so. If you look at all that it has to offer, all they need is a massive amount of games that are good and get that platform going. It could definitely swell up to over, because technically speaking, it's got to go over this fully diluted valuation in order to get above that 61 cent zone, right? So we got to really see this thing move in the next little while, and we're going to compare this to some of the major game gaming narratives or the gaming projects in the next little while when we start to shoot for our bullish price targets. Okay, let's move on. Circulating supply, $56 million tokens out there in circulation, which means, again, there's only a certain amount here. There's not much still. There's a lot more that need to be in distribution. The volume is quite low here, guys. We're talking about $1 million worth of volume. Not much here overall. I would expect a little bit more. I think the trading volume, in fact, actually grew, spiked a little bit here in the last little while, but a little more would be good. It's Arbitrum, but we got a little bit more Ethereum based token and Arbitrum for those, gas fees and all of that to get a little bit of reduction. But remember, this is a cross-chain platform, EVM compatibility and all of that good stuff. So we're going to see a lot of contracts deployed potentially on other network. So let's move on. Community, guys, I wasn't crazy about the fact that the Telegram and the Discord barely had much action in there. So yeah, that's a bit of an issue. And the Twitter we'll talk about in a second. Let's keep on going. Exchanges, they got a few here. Spardex, Bybit. I like the fact that you got Bybit at least. Bybit has been doing very, very well. I know they do KYC and all of that, so I'm not on it anymore. But the fact that it is a really large exchange lately, lots of good trading volume is on there for sure. And of course, decentralized DEX, Uniswap is there with 37% of the volume. Sparta DEX is definitely there with 20%. So we got a bit of liquidity here from some of these, somewhat large-ish it's not a major exchange like a Coinbase or a Binance, but Bybit is decent. Mexi is there doing its thing, grinding away, lots of volume, lots of individuals on that exchange. So, and BitGet is up and coming. Of course, you saw their token going really, really strong in the last little while. So I'm hoping that we can see some trading volume there. But generally speaking, we're at a mid zone here within the listings, the exchange listings. Let's move on. Did I miss anything here? I think we're good. Overall, it's a small project, guys. This is a micro cap. It could definitely do some good stuff here. All right, let's move on. Let's take a look at this infographic that I produced for you guys. Feel free to join the Discord on my socials because I'm going to be posting this. If you want to take a look at it in more detail, it will be available on all my socials. Let's move on. Let's see what we got here. So generally speaking, we know what it is, right? Overview, it's a layer 1, full-on gaming, great approach to basically decentralizing authority using the DAO, allowing new gamers to the space that have no Web3 experience to easily transition and experience Web3 gaming. Good stuff. Ecosystem, they got a lot happening here. Gaming platform, games, wallet, bridge, launcher, SDK capabilities for developers, the ID aspect of things, the analytics, the shop, the studio aspect. Guys, the ecosystem is growing, and then the games that are coming that are third party are obviously gonna, increase the ecosystem. We gotta understand its ecosystem based on its market cap is great. Its utility, great as well. Validating and paying transaction fees on layer 1. Okay, validating transactions on ZK EVM rollups. So any rollups, any validating, any deployment of dApps, this is where you get the utility. This is what you need the token. Earn staking rewards. You stake, you earn rewards, earning from revenue streams, multiple revenue streams across the board. We've seen a huge list of them, guys. So that's really good because there's no real gas fees. So that way, there has to be other ways of earning. And they came up with some really good, interesting ways to get that going. The roadmap, a lot of disjointed information, guys. Now, I'm not going to hold it to them completely because at least they have one that is up to date, but I am going to say the roadmap needs an update. They need some clarity there. What's going on? And I feel like overall, might as well take the stance on saying their website needs a little bit of amalgamation and clarity because there's a lot of writing, too much writing on a landing page. Leave that for a white paper. Update your white paper, update the roadmap, update what you need on that white paper. Make it a Git book. And in fact, that's a much better white paper that you can, because it's interactive and you can put diagrams and links and so on and so forth. So for me, that's where I would be looking at for, for the roadmap and its future and so on. The team is good. It's doc team with lots of experience. Some links on the accounts are not available or made public. Unfortunate, because I lately have been putting a lot of value in LinkedIn. LinkedIn gives you the idea of their network, and I want to be able to see where they came from, which Web3 or Web2 or which part of the tech space they come from, or finance space, or even education. What's their history like? And without the history, how can we predict future value? Now, it doesn't always have to be the only indicator, which is history, but at least it gives us an idea of their path and their interest, their trajectory for the future. So I'm interested in seeing a lot more teams being fully doxed, and here they're pretty doxed. They're pretty good. They got their names, lots of detail, and some of them have a public LinkedIn account. The socials, the Twitter followers are not bad. They're doing okay given their size. They have 173,000 followers, which is not bad. So they're doing their thing, and their followers for the last 30 days have been up 260% in comparison to the last 30 days. That's exactly what we want to see. We want to see growth. 93 posts for the last 30 days, up 9.4%, or they're going at it as well. 100 posts in 30 days equates to about, let's say, slightly over 3 posts a day, give or take, and it's climbing. So that's really good. They're aggressive in their socials. Just get a couple of people or a person on those discords to just make some noise once in a while, answer questions, maybe do some do some giveaways. You have a shop, give away some incentives to get on that shop, maybe a discount code or something like that. Get things going, get some hype going, because that definitely will build a community. And those communities on on Discords and Telegrams, especially Discords, they are a lot more loyal than just random platforms where you're just shooting out messages all day long. So consider that. X is great, but foster a tighter community. Tokenomics, clear vesting schedule. That's very necessary. It's there on the token distribution. They have a cliffs. A lot of them have cliffs, and then linear distribution or emission, which is necessary. Early stakeholders own about 25%, which is a bit concerning because they got in early. They got in at very low valuations. They got it on the cheap essentially. And then as those unlocks happen, are they going to sell in the market? The reality is where we are currently in this market, we are lifting up for the bull run. It's likely that we start this bull run really strong, and then we have pretty much individuals that won't be selling in the next little while because they know that the price is going to keep on going for a good bit. So it's likely that we won't have sell pressure. However, guys, tokens like this, even though they're bullish, doesn't matter. They have great fundamentals, no doubt. There are people that are going to dump on the market when they see any sign of weakness on the tops when we get into this bull run. Okay, we have to understand why. Why? Because a lot of people will be in some great gains, and they're not going to leave them there to ride the whole entire bear market all the way back to the bottom. Okay, look at the charts, look at Bitcoin, the most bullish project, the most heavyweight project out there being Bitcoin, ran up all the way up and then came all the way down for a deep 80% retracement or so. This is what we have to understand. Every project retraces, no matter how bullish you are. Once we see some bearishness up on the top of the bull run, and you see a little bit of euphoria, just keep in mind all those individuals that are euphoric are early stakeholders. Those are the people that got in at very small or very cheap prices and are looking to take profits. Okay, ecosystem fund, operational fund, foundation, all these equate to about 44%, and they have no clear indication that they are governed by the DAO. Okay, that's what they had that website for. That would seem the community website that seemed to be gearing towards providing information about the DAO. I didn't see any clear information that was the case, and we're talking about 44% of the token. So it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It just means we need more clarity. And of course, it is a microcap. It is a small project, right? And what they need to do is just understand that a lot of people have high expectations, and the expectation is that if this is going to be a big gainer, they need to provide as much clarity as possible of where these tokens are going to be held, who's holding them, where's this wallet? Like, it's just some random wallet that's going to be holding this 44%. Where are they coming from? And basically, more clarity. The tokenomics is good. We can't hold it against them just yet because at least they're doing the right thing by showing us everything else we need. We just need them to kind of tighten up some of the facts. That's all it is. Partnerships, 7 out of 10. I'm giving them this based on their size. There are some great partnerships there. I have a hard time deciphering before from strategic partnerships, listings on exchanges, even having a blockchain associations. We really want to know who are the participants or the partnerships that are there to basically help each other out grow. Right? Being listed on KuCoin is not a partnership. So I'm just going to keep that in mind. If they were really bullish on their partnerships, they would have them a clickable link where we could learn more about their partnerships and what they are working on. any team that does that in my book right away will get a 10 out of 10, because that means they are fully committed to that partnership, number one, and number two, they are proud of that partnership and what it has to offer their blockchain or their project. Okay, so far didn't see it, and I hope that the teams in the future take time to really understand that people are looking to see what kind of strategic partnerships are adding value to the project and to the team itself. Exchanges, not bad. I'll admit, they got, I like the fact that they got Bybit. Bybit, Mexi, these are Bybit, of course, has the volume, has the track record. It's been around, really good exchange. Mexi, there's a bit of FUD here and there once in a while, because they have every token out there, they have every coin out there, and so on and so forth. And Mexi has a lot of traders. They got a lot of interest, a lot of action in there. BitGet is up and coming, doing its thing, growing strong. Uniswap, of course, the Sparta DEX has been talking about a lot lately. So there's a lot. The next level is to get KuCoin on here, which I'm surprised they don't, because I've seen KuCoin already on their website as a partner. So I'm kind of confused there. But not only that, but to see it on Binance or Coinbase or something else that's that large, which I can't even think of. But you can expect that there's always an improvement. Once you hit Coinbase, you're done. Once you hit Binance, you're pretty much done, right? Like, there's no more expectations for future listings. There's nowhere else to go. So the next level to get this at 10 out of 10 would be getting on Binance and Coinbase. But for those individuals that are looking at this as an opportunity, this is actually could be considered an opportunity, because if you buy now on Mexi and then it gets listed on Binance, you're going to expect a spike of volume, a spike of price, and a spike of interest across the market, and potentially see this project do very well just based on volume and exchange listing. So something to consider. There's still a little bit of growth here to get this to 10 out of 10, but then once it reaches maturity at 10 out of 10 and it starts to get listed everywhere, does it become a negative? I still think that liquidity and being able to buy and sell these tokens easily based on having them listed on major exchanges is a lot more valuable than anticipating a pump based on a listing for a listing. Okay, so that's my take. Obviously, liquidity is important at the top of the bull run. You know how many millionaires are there holding great bags that cannot be sold? On paper, they're millionaires, but they cannot sell them. So then what use is that? So we got to keep that in mind, especially with the DEXs. If there's no liquidity there, how are you going to sell them at the top of the bull run if there's nobody buying? Okay, you need buyers and sellers for a healthy market, and exchanges is what offer that usually. So the GameSwift token, 60 cents more or less, market cap, we went through all of this. The only thing that concerns me is the volume right now at the current moment. It's 375k volume, which means only 1% of the volume at the current moment. I would like to see a little bit more volume overall in this project, seeing a little bit of hype and action. Supply 56 million, 4.5% only. So we're waiting for more tokens. We need more tokens out there. They're going to get in circulation eventually. Expect a little bit of supply shocks along the way. But if the project itself is super bullish, it will absorb all the unlocks. It will absorb it all and get this thing going. We've seen it in the past. A little unlock, a little dip, and then run for another higher high for the next a little while until the next token unlock. So that's all it is. Wait for the little dips and buy the dips and accumulate. If you're bullish, obviously. All right, let's move on. My final verdict. Side notes. There's some side notes, okay, that I got going on here, and some summaries. Let's do this quick. Full gaming platform solution. A big, thing that they're trying to achieve here. It's definitely ambitious, trying to be a one-stop shop for all gaming. Guys, great stuff though. They have a platform that is well established. I like the design. I like their focus. It looks really good. Part of the gaming GameFi narrative, super hot narrative. Up and coming bull run should definitely reward individuals within this narrative. It's a proof of stake, modular design that allows more control and multi-chain operability. Guys, that's probably their biggest value proposition at the current moment. No gas fees is another one, reducing friction for new Web3 gamers, therefore improving adoption rates. Another big utility, another big value proposition for this project. More information on the DAO. I would like a little bit more clarity on the DAO and how some of those tokens that are in the that are going to enter in circulation, how are they going to be controlled by the DAO? Are they controlled by the DAO? Who's in control of them? We need some more info, and of course it's quite early, so I'm expecting a little bit more info on that one. Discord and Telegram have little to no action. Unfortunately, you guys know how much I like the Discord communities. That's where you can foster depth and a strong community rather than Telegram. Telegram's all right, I guess, but Discord is the next level, guys. If you are not on Discord yet, what are you waiting for? Get on Discord. Go on my channel, go on any channel, and you will see that ultimately there are some great ways to interact with not only the developers and the team and all the people involved at the higher levels, but community members that are really, really well-rounded about the project. It can definitely answer some questions and get you understanding the project in general, especially when there's updates and so on. Discord is where it's at. Go check it out. Team is doxed. However, I would appreciate public profiles on LinkedIn. You guys know how valuable that is to me, is to see where they come from and their prior connections within the space. Website is well built. Some organizational issues, like I mentioned, and simplification would be beneficial. Guys, too many websites. There's two, which I find to be totally, confusing. The white paper outdated, and a PDF that should be done in a Git book, and the Git book is outdated and some links don't work. So this is where we're at. We need another round of a cleanup here. We need housekeeping on this aspect of things, because this is where majority of people get their information. And if somebody is getting their information somewhere else, like on Medium, guys, that is still not good enough. I don't appreciate when blockchain projects expect people to do research somewhere else other than their main website. They should have everything ready to go, spelled out clearly. Take some time to actually update their website and make it a well-structured plateau where to land and actually get the information you need. So for me, lots of confusion there for someone that's entering the space to figure things out, to have to navigate two websites at once and a white paper and a Git book that is outdated. Roadmap should be included on the website and updated, and that whole modularness approach should be diagrammed and posted on the landing page, because I feel like that's one of their major value propositions. Although a lot of people may not understand exactly what that means, but they need to have that diagram and explain it a little bit, because it does a great job explaining how they plan on using a modular approach within their blockchain to achieve full control of the user experience at in the front end, right? And even the back end as for developers. So my verdict, guys, so we can compare this project to many others, right? We can compare it Gala as a studio. We can compare it to Immutable X as an overall ecosystem environment. It's all very viable. The thing is that if you use one or the other, you're talking about major gains. Look, 130X, Immutable X could catch up to that one. Gala Games, 30X. More reasonable, given the fact that Gala took a big dip lately and is pretty much, at the bottom of the range. It's still one of the larger cap altcoins related to gaming in today's environment. So we can kind of understand that if gaming is going to take, right now we're at a $2 trillion market cap in crypto. If crypto goes to 3 trillion, we have a bit more to go. We have a bit of capital, but that's just the previous highs. So the question that you're going to ask yourself is how much of that market cap to 3 trillion and beyond, right? As we get into the bull run, we're going to hit maybe 5 trillion. People are estimating at a modest level to hit a $5 trillion market cap. That means that we have another perhaps 3 trillion more to go, right? So that's a significant amount in order to see some of these projects basically grasp or take a piece of their pie. So the question is, how much of that pie can GameSwift take in comparison to Immutable X and Gala? Since it's a small market cap, has a lot of room to grow, and to catch up to Gala and to catch up to Immutable X, it's going to do some great stuff here. I put a price target at $50 because it's pretty much in between Immutable X and Gala. Gala's unvalued in my opinion at the current moment. Basically tons of FUD brought it down, and it's pretty much here because of the fear based on that FUD, internal issues and so on. But if you look at what it's achieved, and if you look at its utility, its value proposition, it's very similar, and Immutable X as well. So I'm saying if we can get to a $50 price target, guys, it's very likely that we've caught up to the major players in the gaming space. but still took a good portion of the market cap that's going to be entering, or the capital that's going to be entering into the crypto space in the up and coming bull run. Now we could go much higher. You could come down a little bit lower. Guys, I would suggest that you follow the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, because as soon as I see some weakness in charts in the up and coming bull run when we're hitting those tops, I will definitely keep you posted on whether we should be de-risking. Putting these targets for bull run targets are a bit dangerous because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when the market's going to show us weakness, and that's the target. The target is when we see weakness in the charts, when we see weakness in scenarios where we see resistance and we see a lot of greed in the market, we are going to start to get defensive on the gains, and that would be the price target. It could be $50, it's very likely, but let's be aware that those targets are just an idea. I give this project a 9.5. It's potentially one of my highest rated projects in the last little while. I couldn't really find anything absolutely detrimental to this project. Yes, there's some little additions that need to be added and things like that, but those are minor. The reality is the big picture, the base of all of this is really, really bullish. And I think at the current price, it could be undervalued given the fact that it is a small $35 million market cap. Guys, this is great. I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's move on. Let's take a look at the chart first and see if we can come up with a price target. So we can see right now that the price action at the current moment is pretty much sideways. We can see that the volume right now here in the volume profile, the VRVP, is pretty much showing us that market participation is definitely here. Now, does that mean that we're going to hold support? It's very, very possible. We can see a bit of a dip here with a nice little back test as a confirmation low. We see a bit of volume spike right into this zone. We're not overbought just yet here on the daily, but the MACD is looking for that EMA cross very soon perhaps, and we can see some green histogram bars to the upside. Are we ready to get into this market right now at the current level? Let's look at this in a little bit more detail. Look, when there's more data, you get a lot more data points to make decisions off of. There's not much here on the daily. We got to understand, new project, small market cap, a little bit of risk, and this is why we're taking risk. It's because there's no data here, very little data. So we can use what we have to kind of make some idea, get some ideas going, and ultimately there has to be a level of risk mitigation. If there isn't, that's where you're taking a lot of risk. You can see that there's a bit of a range. We got some highs, we got some lows. If we go in the 4 hour, we probably see it a little bit better. Highs, sure, and a double top, bearish divergence, follow through to the downside, back testing, oversold conditions right into here. A nice support on the 400 the 4 hour EMA right here, and looking good right at here for support. We got a bit of a volume gap right into this zone, not too much, but definitely there. Let me put that little red box in here. And you can see we're trying to hold that support very, very clearly above the 4 hour daily EMA. So not bad. So as I was saying before, we did get a follow through to the downside based on divergence. We got two higher highs on the price action, exclude the wicks. Actually, if we exclude the wicks, it doesn't look like too bad. Right? It doesn't look like a divergence, right? It could be a double top. It could be a class C bearish divergence, right? Because we double top-ish. It is class C in that case. Double top on the price action, excluding wicks, okay, guys? And then all of a sudden, if you look at these two tops on the other side, we followed through with that bearish divergence and we got this dip. Now, the dip basically stopped at these previous highs and this price action right here and the 200 EMA. Looking pretty good, and therefore building us a bit of a volume gap that we can, attribute to as support. That's basically it. This could be that support. Now, as we see here on the 4 hour, we're pretty much in the middle of this consolidation. We're in the middle of this range. We got a nice bottom and we got two tops. Do we come up again, get rejected, and finally roll over and come down? Or do we come up to the higher levels at about 69 cents and start breaking out for another leg to the upside? The way things are looking in the current moment in this market, it is very likely that we start breaking out to the upside. Statistically speaking, we're seeing Ethereum carry this market to higher levels. We're seeing it break out above the $3,000 mark. The next target for me on ETH is about 3,500. In the meantime, as Ethereum makes those small peaks and valleys along the way, it will carry the gaming and all other altcoins to higher levels, narrative by narrative. Now, if you look at the price action right here, Some people may argue, okay, if there was a bit more data, we might have a shoulder here, a left shoulder. Okay, fine, that could be the case. And that we're producing a right shoulder. Head and shoulders formation, boom, we start breaking to the upside. Very possible. But let's use the data that we have right here. We can see that we got the bearish divergence, the follow through. I like this because it's very likely that we are currently printing a confirmation low, a higher low. Now, there are individuals that are going to say that this could be a three-wave corrective structure where, and maybe this is not part of it, right? Well, one leg down, correction, another leg down, and we come to about here. Very possible. Some people may argue, well, this could be a nice cup and handle, nice rounded bottom, a beautiful rounded bottom. Very nice. Let's see if I can do this properly. Nice. And then we hit the top, perfectly at the top of the previous high. And then we come down for a decent retracement. What kind of retracement? Let's make sure it's not too deep. Just eyeballing it, it looks okay. 0.5 Fibonacci. That's exactly where we want to be. We don't want to fall lower than that zone, just that general area. We're holding steady right there. So which means that we could be consolidating here in some sort of bull flag for the next little while. It could be a symmetrical triangle. It could be a flag, ascending, descending, whatever it is. It's going to be a consolidation. And that consolidation eventually leads to potential breakout of the neckline of this level right here. But bear in mind, what we really need to see is a break in order to get super bullish. But at least you can build a position with a clear invalidation. If we make a lower low on this price action, you want to cut yourself off a little bit because you don't know how low we're going to go. It's likely we come down to about 53 cents. Okay, that's the bottom of this volume gap. Let's drag this down a little bit. Okay, so this is trying to enter a trade based on what we can see here. And I'm going to put a diagonal right into here. And you can see that there's a bit of support based on this huge volume, this spike of volume here, and the point of control right here. A lot of market participation to act as support if we do come down a little bit lower. But what I'm hoping for is this consolidation. Buying the dip right around this level, where we are right now is not bad. Just buy a little bit of a bag. If we come down a little bit more, buy a little bit more. And then just understand your invalidation has to be clearly at about 57 cents, or at least buy into a small enough bag that if we fall through this volume gap, which is again at 57 cents, and fall right through all the way down to 53 cents, you could definitely absorb that hit, not have to flinch and worry about it, and buy the dip even heavier at lower levels and start DCAing. And what kind of dip would that look like? Let's do that from a risk to reward scenario. We got to know what kind of dips we have to be able to endure if we're going to take it on the chin. It's only a 7% dip. So it's not a huge corrective dip here. It's only 7%. So if you buy the dip right around the zone and accumulate a bit of a bag, and prepare psychologically, economically, and emotionally to buy the dip at lower levels, I will be doubling down and accumulating more here and expecting an eventual confirmation low, even fulfilling that three-wave structure. 1, 2, and then 3, and coming down here. We may not get that three-wave structure. We might get that double bottom right here. We could even get a V recovery for all I know, right around in this zone. But what I do say is DCAing right at this top of the volume gap is not bad because we don't know what kind of consolidation this is going to be. This could be a really good entry at the current retracement level. So let's put a green arrow right in here. Let's change this to green so we know, look, by the dip, let's be aware that this, as you get closer to the zone, it's the greatest entry area. And to be honest, where we are right now, if you're getting with a small bag, it's not bad. Let's get into the hourly. I rarely trade the hourly, guys. Just understand that we might get overbought here and get another spike to the upside. The MACD is getting an EMA cross, so we could come down a little bit and get a good entry at the bottom of the range as close as possible so that your invalidation is a little bit better. But guys, you're nickeling and diming. That's the problem with finding the most perfect entry, is that you're really going to nickel and dime for a few percentages. Guys, it might be that you miss out. And that's one thing that this bullish engulfing candle right now, after this, type of hammer right here, inverse hammer right here, is really bullish on the daily. So what I would be looking for is entries. Personally, I would be looking for entries, and I would be DCAing here as we are in a retracement from those two tops. And those two tops type of retracements, what are we talking about? I would give or take maybe 10% retracement already from the top, maybe more. Let's see, from the top to where we are right now, you're looking at 15% retracement already. Decent comparison, considering that this whole entire range as a range bound accumulation, you're talking about about a 50% range, and we came down already 15. So the reality is we can come down a little bit more, get a better entry, but don't expect it to come all the way down here. The only way that this thing is going to come down to the point of control or even lower is if Bitcoin decides to roll over and take a dump on the market. That's when we will potentially see the altcoin market take a bigger beating, and that unfortunately would be somewhere where we see our portfolios come down, but we will be ready to accumulate and buy those dips. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. I'm going to be live tonight at 7:30 Eastern talking about crypto news and price action. If you haven't yet, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. And the best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.